Hello everyone, MarcusWolfe here, welcoming you all back to another episode of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Oh god, whenever I have to do these mouthful intros, I need to learn to breathe. I need to breathe before I start talking, otherwise I am out of breath. Secondly, and most importantly, we are still cross-examining Sister Bikini. Right now, I suppose we are calling her memory into question because there was a problem. Neither Iris nor Bikini have a reason to lie in their testimony. It does not benefit them. So, the only thing that we can think of is there's something wrong with her testimony. And let us continue on to see what it could possibly be, because if we don't figure it out, we're as good as in trouble.
Well, when I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mr. Gillies. I've never seen so much blood before, though. And that's when I fainted. You can't exactly blame me now, can you? And when I awoke, Mr. Gami she was stabbing Mr. Gillies through the back.
I mean, that is quite an imagery. A statue of the founder of the Korean channeling technique killing someone, albeit it's only the statue, but it is quite a visual. For Sister Bikini especially, it's like, huh?
This all confirms Miss Von Kolmer's theory. Von Kolmer strives for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that by now, Miles Edgeworth.
Perfection is an impossibility, Franziska von Kolmer, and I'm here to teach you just that. As impossible as it is, it's time to prove it.
Well, when I looked across the scene, the sword was already in place.
And at that time, was the victim still breathing?
Well, I was very shocked at seeing all this, so, of course, I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think I saw any blood. Not then, at least. I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound.
Well, in any case, let's be clear on one very important point. Did you actually see the instant in which the victim was stabbed?
Oh, thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mr. Gillies.
Oh, I clicked the wrong button. No, too much. God dang it. Every episode I click the button wrong. Why? This is so stupid. Now please, think carefully. This is very important, witness.
It's Iris we're talking about here. I'm thinking for all I'm worth. No. When I looked over, the sword was already in Mr. Gillies' body.
It might not exactly be conclusive. However, this testimony supports her theory.
The victim was stabbed in her room and then dropped into the courtyard. I think this proves it rather well, Miles Edgeworth. I've never seen so much blood before.
So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood?
That's right. Some of it had splattered onto Iris, too. When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room. And her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner.
What? Her clothes were blood-flecked?
But that does seem quite conclusive to me.
Oh, what should I do? Will I press this point further? Well, this honestly is the first I'm hearing about her appearance at the time she was apprehended. That is kind of important. Please, press further. Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now you say you saw the victim bleeding.
Well, I say that what I saw is what I saw. And what did you see? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her plain as day.
Pulling the sword out?
Well, it wasn't exactly pulling, if you will. It's more like it just came out. Witness, you will add this statement to your testimony. Oh, was that important?
More important than you can imagine.
Well, I saw the instant in which the blade, plunged into the hilt, was smoothly drawn out.
Smoothly, you say? You're saying that you saw the sword smoothly slide out?
That's right. The whole thing happened right next to the gold statue of Mr. Kami. Mr. Khalees was on the ground and Iris was stooped over her. The sword was buried up to the hilt. And when Iris stood up, the sword in her hand just slid out of Mr. Khalees' body. It slid out from that gaping wound. Oh! Well, it goes without saying that if this sword was removed there, then it would be some bleeding. Nothing out of place here, now is there?
It's not really the case. Can't help but feel that something about this testimony is very out of place. That something which couldn't possibly have happened appears to have happened.
I've never seen so much blood before.
And was the bleeding caused by the killer removing the sword?
There's no mistaking it. I remember it all clear as day.
Don't you think it's a bit odd, though?
And what do you mean, Miles Edgeworth?
Why would the killer pull out the sword?
But
if all she wanted to do was place the weapon on the hand of the gold statue, then there was no reason to remove it from the body. All that would have accomplished is causing the victim to bleed unnecessarily. Your thoughts, Miss Von Karma?
that's... Indeed. It is strange now that you mention it.
I'm going to need to find an answer to this mystery too.
Anyway, the witness saw something terrible. So what did you do after that, witness? That's when I fainted. You can't exactly blame me now, can you?
Now, on to what the killer did next. You saw none of it, correct?
Well, I was unconscious. And how long were you out for? Oh, I don't know. 10, maybe 20 minutes. A young man with a very prickly looking head woke me up. By stepping on me, actually. I'm not sure I like that method of resuscitation. Well, I wasn't asking for mouth to mouth or anything of the sort, but I would have welcomed a more gentle awakening right about then, let me tell you.
I shall have words with the offender personally. Now, what did you see upon awakening?
Well, when I awoke, Mr. Kami was, stabbing Mr. Khalees through the back.
By Mystic Army, are you referring to the golden statue?
Just stabbing someone with the Shichishito is terrible enough. It's a sacred treasure. But to then make Mystic Army hold the blade... truly, a heinous, despicable crime.
It is easy to despise something. Anyone can do it. However, there is something that cannot be so easily done.
Oh, whatever it is, I'm sure it's doubly hard for you. Though, what is the problem if you don't mind humoring me?
Exactly why would the killer set up this gruesome scene? Can anyone explain the reasoning behind that?
No, I don't think I can. There isn't always a logical reason behind why someone acts. Now that's true, so very true. In early spring, for example, I often find myself
There isn't always. That phrase might come in handy someday. Still, there are too many unnatural points to this case. Why was it necessary to use the Shichishito from the army statue as a weapon? Why was the weapon ultimately placed back in the hand of the statue? If I can expose the flaws in this testimony, perhaps then I will begin to find the truth.
I would like to, Edgeworth, but I have no idea what I'm looking for. When I looked across the scene, the sword was already in place. What about it now? I didn't see her stab. The instant I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. Well, I suppose if we're going to talk about semantics, which, when it comes to weapons and what you witnessed, semantics is actually quite important sometimes. The Shichishito is a 7-branch sword. It's a very jutted blade. It's not a singular blade. There's all these, like, little juts and branches, yada and such. I wouldn't say that it was smoothly drawn out. It's quite impossible for a blade like that to be... Oh, excuse me. It's quite impossible for a blade like that to be just smoothly drawn out. So that's the main issue that I have here. Although, I do want to see the evidence. I mean, I'm going to present it because that's plunged into the... smoothly drawn out. That's the contradiction. But, and oh god, I can't talk. My suspicions were correct on the second part. Plunged into the hilt. If it were, the sword would be covered in blood. But as the case may be, only the first third of the blade is covered in blood. So there are a couple of contradictions here. 1, plunge into the hilt is impossible. 2, smoothly drawn out. With a sword like this, no, it is not coming out smoothly. You're gonna have to jiggle the poor victim, and that wound is gonna be worse. But she has no reason to lie here, so... I believe her when she says she saw something drawn out, and then she fainted. Or something to... Wait, did she say it was drawn out and she fainted? Yada yada yada. When I looked across the scene, the sword was already in place. You didn't see the stabbing, but you did see the instant when the blade was drawn out. You never seen so much blood, and that's when So this was before you fainted, before Phoenix came up and stepped on you. So this is what you saw. You have no reason to lie. So I'm willing to believe you saw the sword be drawn out, and that it was plunged into the hilt. You know, I have an idea. Maybe that's the reason why the whole scene was set up so elaborately. The more elaborate the scene, the bigger the impression it usually leaves upon the person to see it. That's usually the case. I don't think the Shichishito is the murder weapon. Because if she's telling the truth here that it was plunged into the hilt and smoothly drawn out, the Shichishito cannot do that. So was there another weapon in play? Now, okay, of course that's me jumping ahead. Let's deal with the problem now. But I feel like that opens up to the question, was there another weapon in play? It opens it up, it really does.
Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least I would like to think so. However, there are too many contradictions in play.
What do you mean? You make it sound as though if I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about?
In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to its hilt into the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities.
What do you mean? Please, explain yourself.
To start with, Do you really think it'd be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that.
It doesn't appear. What meaningless dribble. I too may appear to be weak and frail, but I can crush men under my heel and make them weep should I so choose. The objection stands. I was a little back there, I must admit.
And that isn't the only issue. If this sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in the body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding.
But that's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with the shishito. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly, and may still sometimes stop the blood loss.
I'm not finished, however. There is still yet one more conclusive contradiction.
You still got more?
Well, this one is simple. If this sword really was thrust all the way into the hilt, then why is there only blood on the tip of it?
Ugh.
If this witness is indeed telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword.
No!
Wow, Edgeworth, you found more contradictions than I did. I only saw 2.
Bravo, Myers Edgeworth. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that. But what does this all mean? You've proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, true, but...
Having come this far, there can only be one answer, Your Honor.
And that is...
The weapon used to kill the victim was not the shishito.
What? A foolishly foolish idea, born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool.
Let's examine this again, why shall we? What was it that made us think this sword was the murder weapon?
Well... it's because Mr. Kami was holding it.
Exactly, witness. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us.
Exactly what I said, Miles. The scene is so strong. How can anyone ignore it and then think something else at that moment?
It influenced us to believe that the shishito was the murder weapon.
It did. It really did.
Order! So maybe the shishito was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Myers Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. That is true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth?
If that is so, then I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises.
The obvious question?
Yes. Namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to?
Exactly. See, I knew it. That sword, with the contradictions it had, opens up the door to say what could be the real murder weapon.
It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area thoroughly. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as if a sword-like object was ever found.
That's... Answer the question, Miss Von Karma. No evidence of that kind was found. Another mystery then to throw onto the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast. Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking that it is possible that just maybe, well, what actually happened was, it was just over there. What exactly are you going to put here? The murder weapon, I mean. Maybe. Well, I think I might know where the sword was disposed of.
You what?
Well then, I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister.
It's impossible! What else could this old woman have seen?
What else could she have seen that would make her think that the murder weapon is in a different place? I saw the murder at around 11 p.m., and after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there, I saw tracks. Tracks that indicated snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all.
Oh.
Witness, please, tell us everything you know right away next time. Well, I'm not in the best of shape, what with my back and my age, you know. Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here is the photograph.
Oh.
It was snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory. The tracks begin in front of Hazakura Temple and run all the way to Dusky Bridge.
Taken that night from main gate to Dusky Bridge. Uh-oh. So, okay, I'm willing... Oh, God. But then why are their tracks going away? Because if it takes 5 minutes to get to the bridge, then it's a 10-minute round trip. Where's the tracks going away? Because we also see footsteps, which I believe these are Wright's Wright's. These are Phoenix's steps as he's running to the payphone to, you know, call. Why aren't there a second set of tracks?
And that solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon.
But did she really go to the river to dispose of it?
Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please.
Now, I had... Okay. Wait, let me think about this first. The snowmobile was definitely used. There's tracks coming back. I think it was snowing for a time. It was snowing for a time, yes. And I think the weather report will back me up on that. So if there's only return tracks, either the snowmobile was driven out while it was snowing, or that snowmobile was out for longer than the murder was supposedly discovered. Those are two possibilities. The possibility that Bikini is saying is that when she fainted, it was used to dispose of the murder weapon. Possible. Another possibility that I can throw up would be that the snowmobile was out there at Dusky Bridge or wherever it was before she witnessed this scene. I don't know if I can prove that, but if I can, then that will debunk Bikini's version of, oh, the snowmobile was used when I fainted to dispose of evidence. Ugh. Well, one thing at a time first. What's in front of me?
I saw the murder at around 11 p.m.
And you're sure about the time?
Yes, I was worried about it after all.
And why was that?
Because I have a strong sense of responsibility, especially at this time of year. The acolyte was being doused in freezing water at the time. I couldn't very well take it easy in the bath all night long now, could I? So at 11, I decided to leave Hazakura Temple.
Her estimation at the time seems reliable at least.
Please continue, sister. And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate.
You asked Phoenix Wright to report the crime, correct?
Right, the one who trampled me.
Seems she's the type to hold a grudge.
There isn't a phone in the main hall, so I sent him to the bridge. Phoenix Wright. He didn't even have his cell phone on him.
He had forgotten it at home, apparently.
What a naive boy, as always. Not only do I always carry my phone, but I always have my whip in hand, too. Anyway, I was really scared, and it was taking them a while to get back. So, I thought I'd go out by the main gate for a spell. And there, I saw tracks. Tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used.
As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited.
That's it. It's the only one we have. It'll run no matter how much snow falls.
Now, you're certain that the snowmobile was there at the main gate when you arrived?
Yes, of course. It was parked in front of the gate. No, she had already gone, discarded the murder weapon, and returned by that time.
I'm not sure if this is really relevant. Or what should I do? No, I need to know more about what you saw. I need answers to every possible doubt. The snowmobile in question, was it still warm at that time?
Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean, eh? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth?
I'm playing to a slow crowd here, apparently. Well, it goes without saying that using the snowmobile will heat its engine. If it was still warm, then it means it was recently used.
Oh, I see. Well, I never thought of that. That's right. I did overlook that. Of course you did.
Then answer the question, please, witness.
I don't often go around touching hot engines. However, now that you mention it, there wasn't any snow on it.
Snow?
Yes, for some reason the snowmobile wasn't covered in snow.
There wasn't any snow on it. Curses.
And it seems highly likely that the killer did use the snowmobile then. And how long does it take to get to Dusky Bridge by snowmobile?
Yeah, it doesn't matter then if the engine was hot or not. There was no snow. It still stands to reason.
It takes 15 minutes to walk the Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those.
In that case, why didn't you use it yourself? You could have spared yourself some walking.
There's a reason for that. Have we got a moment to explain? I think that's why the question was asked in the first place. Well, it was about a month ago. I was driving my beloved little snowmobile, happy as can be. It fetched some water and was heading back when I went and crashed it into a tree. The tree and my back both went crunch, just like that. Crunch. Crunch. I haven't been able to find the courage to write anything since. Anyway, the killer must have used it.
After crashing it into a tree, god dang. And her back is already not good, so... Ooh, that has to hurt.
Maybe they threw it into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out.
Now do refresh our memory. How long were you knocked out for?
Like I said, somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes. It's possible to get to the bridge and back in 10 minutes using the snowmobile.
I have to concede that there is more than enough time in that sense.
Is that all you wish to concede then, Miles Edgeworth? Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all.
While it would have been possible time-wise, one element remains out of place.
Oh? And what would this mystery element be?
The killer's reasoning, Your Honor. Why did the killer do all of this? Why go to Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon when there are other perfectly good methods?
Too many unanswered questions, yes. Your response, Miss Montcalm? Ah! Turning to me for help over the slightest thing. Why don't you think for yourself once in a while, Your Honor?
What? She's as over the top as always.
Anyway, whatever the reason, the fact remains the defendant could have done this. The murder weapon was disposed of into the river. Another point to me, Miles Edgeworth.
Another mystery to feed to the fire, you mean? Was there any reason to go and throw away the murder weapon? Luckily, there is surely a problem with this testimony. All I have to do is start poking holes into this flawed account.
You saw the murder around 11, yes. And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. You saw the murder around 11. Phoenix ran 15 minutes out. So I would say he got to the bridge around 11:15. And there I saw tracks, indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk, yes, but 5 minutes using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. The problem I have here is the tracks. And... wait, you said you discovered the scene, right? You saw the murder at around 11. Phoenix came out and witnessed it himself. So that'll be a little after 11 at the least. It was not snowing then. I remember playing as Phoenix. It was not snowing then. But that doesn't mean anything because we saw the scene then and that's when she woke up. But we don't know about the 10-20 minutes she was out. But I feel like it still stands to reason that around 11 it stopped snowing. That's fair because I remember Phoenix saw the scene of the crime. It was not snowing then. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. I don't know. My initial thought here is... no, that's not what I want. No, you stupid... Go away. Jesus. My initial thought is this. The tracks. Okay, let me try this. If it's not this, then it might be the weather report. Because I feel like... I don't know when it stopped, but I know the weather report tells me when it stopped. But let me try this, because it's showing that there's only one set of tracks. Oh, okay, it is this. Okay, the fact that there's only one set of tracks. Okay, good. Because I couldn't tell. It's like, was I supposed to present the weather report? Because I know it says when the snow stopped falling. I just don't remember when.
I admit this photo proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder.
So you finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth.
However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks?
What do you mean?
Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Those are from heading out to the bridge, and those from coming back.
Oh, you're right. Phew. You're all forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction now, doesn't it?
I see.
I see. So while she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. What do you have to say to that now, Miles Edgeworth?
Is there a flaw in her theory? This idea that the snowfall covered one set of tracks,
Which wherein... I mean, there is... Is it the weather report data then that I would show here? Well, let me see where it goes. Because I know there's a contradiction here.
the tracks to the river were covered by snow. A nice theory, Miss Von Karma. However, that is impossible.
And would you care to explain why? Why is there a rude index finger currently pointed in my direction?
No need. The evidence will do all the talking for me.
On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge in order to dispose of the murder weapon, and thus the outgoing tracks were erased by snow. That is what Miss Von Karma claims. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. Here's the
It could be the weather report data, yes. But that only proves when the snow stops. Remember, she said that she discovered the crime at 11. Although... I think I can give this a try, actually. What does the weather report say? Now that I've seen it, I'm going to use it. Snow with the occasional lightning strike. Snowed from 7 to approximately 10:50, with lightning from 10 to 11. She discovered the scene at around 11, she said. The snow stopped at 10:50. If she discovered the crime at 11... Yeah. I think this is what I'm looking for.
Witness, please, tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime.
Well, like I said, it was around 11.
Of course. That means the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please everyone have a look at this data. It is the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder.
The weather report?
Snow fell at 7, but stopped at 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 p.m., the snow had already stopped. It is impossible then for any tracks made after that time to be covered up.
Order! Very well then. It looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in, as it were. Ah! It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow, Your Honor. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather, of all things. Answer me this, then. When is a weather report ever correct? No, you got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast, it's actual data. Ah! Forecast data. All weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may have still been snowing in the vicinity well past 11. Well, it's true. We can't totally be sure, eh?
What? How did she pull that off?
It had stopped snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this.
I've come this far. There's no turning back now. Very well. I too cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony.
You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist you are, Miles Edgeworth. Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where is your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed?
Oh, let me think. The only thing I can think of to help, because I can't use the weather report now, because now we're saying that it's not wholly accurate. What about the crime photo? Because the body was not disturbed, theoretically. And if it was never disturbed from the moment it was discovered, then it should be as it was, including if any snow had fallen on it. Not the map of Hazakura Temple. Where are you? Not that one. Crime photo. I was right. There's no snow on her body. Not a single fleck. No. When she was discovered by Bikini, it had stopped snowing. There's no snow on her body. It had already stopped. Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being whether or not it was snowing in the courtyard when the victim was stabbed.
That's right. But proving that point is
incredibly easy.
But
if we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo would tell us everything. Of course, I'm referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can plainly see, everything is covered in snow. With one exception.
And that is
the victim herself, Miss Elise Donner. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer to that is simple. It had stopped when she was killed. That's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph, there should be two sets of tracks.
Order! Just what? Just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth?
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself. However, this is simply what all the facts point to. That night, someone did use a snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing.
Of course it was, because those tracks were erased.
Then, when this person returned, the snow had already stopped, thus leaving the return tracks.
Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? Well, there's only one key for the snowmobile. Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder. Which can only mean that night, Iris used it to go to the inner temple.
But Iris said she never went. She'll probably press on this point some more when I get the chance.
The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge, so she must have left it on the Hazakura side and crossed on foot. That sounds about right. But what's odd is, when I left Iris to return to Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge. You must have just failed to see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there, by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw, and it was covered in snow.
But that's impossible!
No, that is impossible. What?
Order! No, just what does this all mean?
So then, what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks. All we know is this. After it had stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble.
I think we've learned all that we can from this witness.
Yes, I've nothing more to add. I told you everything that I know.
But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. Oh, if only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile.
A witness, huh?
Was there no one out walking perhaps near Dusky Bridge on that night?
I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that. Unless they had something really important to do.
Well, that's a shame.
Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out on that Sabbatic night. Your Honor, actually, there just might be one individual who may be of help to us.
Really?
You know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder.
It's possible. He was there. I don't know for sure if he saw it or not. But there are 2 things about him that do come to mind.
Which are?
First, he saw something incredible on the night of the murder.
And the second being?
This individual that I am thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot.
Mr. Edgeworth, just who exactly is this idiot you're talking about?
Where are you? Larry Butts, who calls himself Laurie's Donham. He was there with an ulterior motive.
This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc Deladouc's... Oh god. Jean-Luc Deladouc's Guide to Obnoxious French Painting.
This is Larry Butts, a disciple of the victim Elise Donham.
A student? Well, that is interesting. And why was he wandering about outside on the night of the murder?
I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist. He was perhaps searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him. Although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason.
And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man, what exactly was it that he saw?
That is what I intend to extract from him, right here in this courtroom.
Very well then, summon this youth as a witness immediately. I have no choice, do I?
I believe he is in the gallery currently for this trial. It will not take long to summon him.
Very well.
Larry, you may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you.
The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Montcalm, please see to preparing the next witness.
Understood, Your Honor.
Good.
Well then, court is now in recess.
Is it really? Because my voice is dying. Good. Almost an hour of doing Edgeworth's deep voice is killing me. My natural
My natural tone is not built for that deep of a voice. I can do it when I get angry and just go like, "Oi, what's going on over there?" And yes, I did say "oi." Whenever I deepen my voice, it just, for whatever reason, goes into this weird accent territory that it has no business going into. Do not ask, it just is. But being that the case may be, I'm going to go ahead and call it into the episode here, because my voice is dying. I need to rest it, get ready for the next episode, whenever that may be. So, and desperately get a drink of water. Ugh. Also, I need to mentally prepare myself for what Larry has to say. Every time he's on the witness stand, it's awkward. Every time we question him, it gets awkward. And let's see where this awkwardness takes us. Later, everyone.